Let's go to something more of a bright note in Asian pop culture. Yosuke Yukimatsu, the DJ from, I think,
Boiler Room
recently.
Yeah.
That's right. So that Boiler Room set really blew up and got a shout out from Joe Rogan. And then also Fred again gave him a cosign at the event. And it's just a kind of an inspirational story and made me think of, a lot of other. First of all, it was an inspirational story and it made me think, this is fantastic. We got another Asian in the DJ scene.
It's great.
Getting his flowers.
Yeah.
And people understanding, whoa, okay, there's a whole world of Asian DJs out there. But, I'm remiss to really share with everyone that there's been a long history of really good Asian DJs.
Yeah, there's something about DJing, right? Like I think Jeff Chang has a book, Legions of Boom.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not Jeff Chang, but there's a book, Legions of Boom.
Okay.
About Filipino DJs, hip hop DJs in the Bay Area.
Bro.
Like we came up on hip hop.
Yeah.
DJ Neil Armstrong, the Invisible
Q-Bert.
Scratch Pickles, Q-Bert.
One of the best scratch DJs ever. A legend.
Fifth Platoon, DJ Rolly Rowe, even Mixmaster Mike.
Yeah,
the Beastie Boys had a Filipino DJ.
Yep. And then LA had DJ Rhetmatic. So there's
That's the homie.
Yeah, there has been a long list of Asian DJs, even in Asia. In Japan, there's been a lot. So this is nothing new.
And this is the funny thing is I think there's something about being a DJ that Asians in hip hop, obviously, in the 90s you had Mountain Brothers and then you had Jin, you've got Dumbfounded. There's rappers.
Yeah.
But being DJs has there's a ton. It's a space in hip hop where Asians have managed to find carve out a lane for ourselves for a long time.
Well, I also think, especially as it pertains to techno, the EDM scene, right? You had Ju, and then I have Yusuke Yukimatsu.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name. What's the other guy with long hair?
Aoki, Steve Aoki.
Right, yeah. Steve Aoki. So I feel oddly, techno and the EDM scene is more open to other races being DJs because it's not really the face.
Yeah.
They're not the pop singer. It's more of all right, if I can get down on your music and, go to a festival and rock out. And you had Peggy Goo. Even, right. And it's almost easier. Toki Monster. I can keep going. So, but you know what I mean? I could just keep going with these DJs because it feels more, this is the key word again, meritocratic.
Well, and you know what? I agree.
Yeah.
And I think another thing, I agree. And to add to that, so much of electronic and dance music comes from queer Black communities.
Yeah.
Right? So much of it is rooted, raves.
Yeah.
Raves, when they started, it was queer communities of color.
Yeah.
So ironically, right? We hear a lot of talk these days about DEI hires.
Yeah.
Some of the most genuinely merit-based spaces have been these marginalized spaces where they said, dude, it doesn't matter. We don't care what you look like. We just care that you can get down.
Yeah.
And you have these cultures, whether that's drag and ballroom culture, whether that's hip hop, whether that's EDM, that were grounded in these communities that were used to being passed over because of what they look like. They didn't fit into the system, so they built these spaces where they're like, dude, you're not going to let us fit in. We're going to make a place where everyone can fit in. And so I agree, and I can't help but think that some of the ways that underground dance music lets anyone in, it doesn't matter, trans, cis, straight, queer, male, women, whatever, as long as you can get down, right? This is what we learned in hip hop, right? As long as you can show and prove, you got a seat at the table.
All right, let me drop some knowledge on everyone right now. Hip hop, pop music right now, electronic music, would not exist without Asians. Let me tell you why. Dr. Dre, Kanye West, Timbaland,
Afrika Bambaataa.
Every DJ that you know of right now, every producer owes a great ton of gratitude to Japanese engineers.
True.
The Roland, almost every Roland box, MC303, 505, SP1200, the Akai MPC series, MPC 3000, 2000, 1000, any MPC you see out there right now, every drum that you hear right now, the most common drum, the 808, in all genres right now, was created by a Japanese engineer.
That's true.
So the story of the 808 is really interesting because basically Roland told one of their low-level engineers, we need you to make a drum kit, but you get 8 bits. And you get, I think it was something fraction of a second of sample time. And go do it. Lock himself in a room, go do it. He had no idea what he was doing. He'd never heard any electronic music before in his life. But he was just using synthesizers just to basically create what we now know as the 808 kick, the snare, the hat, the tom, everything that you still hear today in almost every genre of music. And then created the 808 as we know today. Akai created the sequencer, essentially, which is what every software now uses to create beats. Ableton, Pro Tools, Studio One, anything, right? And those tools were then embraced by all of the producers out here and used in such creative ways that the Japanese founders never even thought of. When they thought of the MPC 3000, they never thought that Dr. Dre would be using it for a hip hop record.
They had no idea what it would become.
Correct. Or Kanye West, or whoever it is. Or it would be sampled over and over and over again to make these crazy, grimy beats. And I just think that's an amazing testament to, the culture of reproducing, because the 808's been resampled so many times.
Yeah. It's the foundation of modern music.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's evolved into something so beautiful where it could become a bass line now. And it could be super dirty and it could sound like 808 and Heartbreaks, or it could sound something as clean as what it used to sound like, or it could be in the 80s pop music and Michael Jackson hits. So, just let y'all know, this is how creativity happens.
Yeah.
When cultures can merge, but in the most interesting ways.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.